Hey everyone, welcome back to this series on how to select the right cruise. This is really part 3 in my series that I'm entitled Cruise 101. We're looking at the basics on how to find the right cruise and to help wade the waters of selecting a cruise, especially if you're new to cruising. Cruise vacations are wonderful, but the information on the internet has become to the point it's just saturated. And my goal with these series is to help you understand and wade those waters a little bit and help you understand the right process to go through in selecting the right cruise to make your cruise vacation even that much better. So we started with part 1, which was deciding on how long of a vacation you want to go on, which then led to part 2 of where and when you'd want to go, and we talked about how that helps narrow down the areas that you want to go, but also helps narrow down the cruise line. And today we're going to address the cruise lines. And after today, the next part in this, so you'll stay tuned for part 4, will be on stateroom selection. But today let's just talk about cruise lines. So now we've discussed the how long you want to go, we've discussed the where and the when, and again that can narrow down even to the cruise lines. For instance, if you wanted to go just on a 3 or 4 day cruise, not every cruise line offers a 3 to 4 day cruise. Royal Caribbean does, Carnival does, and Norwegian Cruise Line does, but Cunard, you'll be hard pressed to find a 3 or 4 day cruise to the Bahamas on the Queen Mary or the QE, and or even on luxury cruise lines like Crystal and Oceania and so forth. They do not offer 3 or 4 day cruises. So by saying you want to go on a shorter cruise narrows down to the cruise line options that we have. If you want to go on a 7-day cruise like we discussed in part 2, then that does open up the options. So let's again work under the assumption you want to take a 7-day cruise and you want to take that to the Caribbean. So now we have a plethora of options. We can look at Royal Caribbean, we can look at Carnival, we can look at Princess, we can look at Norwegian Cruise Line NCL, you can even look at Holland America and MSC, Costa, and on and on. You can see that's where it starts getting a little confusing. So let's break down the top, what I'll call the top major cruise lines that will appeal to the broad general public versus the specialty cruise lines. And I'm going to name those as Princess, Royal Caribbean, NCL, Carnival, and Holland America. Those are going to be my top 5 I'm going to focus on for this discussion. I know there's more, and don't get mad if I've left out your favorite cruise line, but I'm going to focus just on those 5 to show some of the differences between those top 5 major cruise lines. So let's start with Holland America. Let's say you decide you want to go on a 7-day cruise to the Caribbean, and you see a cruise that's offered on Holland America, and you've never been on Holland America. Well, let me just tell you right now, Holland America is very traditional. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean that in the way that they're defining their market and the niche that they appeal to. They're very traditional in the way that they do their dining and their service. Their staterooms are very stately and traditional compared to some of the more contemporary looks that you might get with NCL, Royal Caribbean, or Carnival. They tend to be a little less party-oriented, and I guess that's another way of putting it, more so than maybe Carnival. And so what I mean by that is your demographic is going to be somewhat different. It's going to be skewed toward the more experienced cruiser, those that have cruised several times to places outside of the Caribbean, even like Alaska or Europe, and it's going to appeal to probably those that are in the age group or demographic of 55 and older. That's going to be the largest segment on Holland America. And again, that's not a negative, that's just making you understand the demographic that's going to be on board. So if you're looking for more of a younger party atmosphere or younger singles groups or a younger demographic as a whole, then Holland America is probably not going to be the cruise line that I would offer to you or steer you towards. If you are looking for a younger group and a party atmosphere, then your first thought will probably go toward Carnival, because their commercials, as they call themselves the fun ships, try to advertise themselves as more of a outgoing, adventuresome, party-like atmosphere, and they've gotten the reputation of being the fun ship because of some of their party atmospheres that they cater to on their ships. Their decor is much more Vegas style, as I'll call it. It's more gaudy is probably not the right term, but if you go out and look at some of their ships, they use a lot of bright lights, LEDs, chromes, and a variety of colors throughout their entire ship. And that's the best way to describe it. A lot of glass and things like that. Interior, inside the ship, for their decor, which lends itself to more of a Mardi Gras or Vegas type atmosphere. Royal Caribbean and NCL are more in the middle, I'd put them. Their staterooms are contemporary, but not over the top. Their decor seems to be a little bit more toward traditional styles from the standpoint of woods and colors are very coordinated, and you don't find that bright Vegas look in their ships as you do on Carnival. And so therefore the demographic from Carnival to NCL to Royal Caribbean is going to vary a little bit. You're going to have more variety of demographic on Royal Caribbean and NCL potentially than you will on Carnival. Carnival will appeal to the younger groups and to the singles and to the college students and those folks. So outside of that, their itineraries are going to be almost identical. They're going to sail. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, and even Holland America and Princess are all going to sail to the same typical ports in the Caribbean. If it's a Western Caribbean cruise, most likely they're going to sail to Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, maybe a stop in Key West, or down in Roatan, Honduras, and places like that. But you're not going to find a lot of variety in the way that their itineraries differ. If you want to go to a specific port, chances are different cruise lines are going to offer that same specific port. So it's still going to come down to choice of cruise line. Princess is somewhere between Royal Caribbean and Holland America. Their demographic tends to be skewed to the 40s and older, and that tends to lend itself to a little different atmosphere. And so I'm going to let's put the spectrum at Carnival being the more party atmosphere, up to Holland America being the more stately atmosphere, and in between there you have NCL, Royal Caribbean, and Princess. And it really kind of goes in that order. NCL has some of the newer ships, and some of the decor, as I stated, it's still contemporary, but it might be a little more on the cutting edge versus some of the Royal Caribbean ships. And since they're the newer ships they have the newest ships in their fleet than out of any other cruise line. So dining wise, it's going to be very much the same across the board. Almost every cruise line now is offering what they call anytime dining. NCL was the one that coined the phrase freestyle, but really if you look at Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, Princess, and even Holland America, you can now choose to go and dine at a time that you choose versus having a specific dining time. So I really put all of them now on the same playing field when it comes to dining. And they're all going to have specialty restaurants. The thing that I like about Royal Caribbean is their ships tend to offer a little bit more in the way of activities for all age groups, such as even rock climbing or doing a wave simulator, surfing on board. And some of the Royal Caribbean ships even have ice skating rinks on board. They have malls or promenades down the center of the ship if you just want to go hang out and have a cup of coffee and act like you're on a promenade in some European city. And to shop. Their shows that they run up and down the promenade are in parade style, and that tends to have a little bit more party atmosphere to it. So I like Royal Caribbean. I've been on NCL, and I'm getting ready to go on Princess. And I've been on Disney, and I put Disney in its own segment. To me, it's a specialty line, and I'll talk about them maybe later when I get into more specialty cruise lines. But I hope I've helped at least help you see that those are the major cruise lines. The demographic is key. I would ask the question to a travel agent, what is the demographic typically on that particular cruise line and that particular cruise itinerary? And there is data that travel agents like myself can pull that will help you understand that. So you don't get on the wrong cruise line for the itinerary that you thought you wanted. And it can make for a cruise that is less than satisfactory. So I hope that helps you understand the choices. I hope we've narrowed down maybe the top 5, and then we can get into individual stateroom selection and the pros and cons of each for the next series. Sorry for the lengthy discourse on this one, but I knew that I would have to take a little more time in explaining the various cruise lines. And again, send me your comments and questions, and I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. Thanks a lot.